Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is LB the Realist, and this is Surrealistic Studios, where the real is surreal. Now, while we have the deadline quickly approaching for the ISPs to start implementing their new rules, I guess you can say, in regards to the repeal of net neutrality, we have tech companies that are filing petitions to have the courts review the FCC's decision to repeal net neutrality. We have cities that are suing the FCC for the repeal, and we actually have now the ACLU is urging all cities to build public broadband to protect net neutrality. So I'll go ahead and read from the Hill here. The ACLU is calling on cities across the country to build their own public municipal broadband networks to help preserve net neutrality after the Federal Communications Commission repealed the open internet rules. In a report released Thursday morning, the civil liberties group argued that in the absence of the FCC's rules, cities could give residents an alternative to private service providers who will soon no longer be required to treat all web traffic equally. Internet service has become as essential as utilities like water and electricity, and local governments should treat it that way, Jay Stanley, an ACLU policy and analyst who authored the report, said in a statement. If local leaders want to protect their constituents' rights and expand quality internet access, then community broadband is an excellent way to do that, Stanley added. The ACLU sent the report to more than 100 mayors across the country who have spoken out against the FCC's decision to scrap the rules. The Republican-led FCC voted in December to repeal the Obama-era consumer protections that prohibited internet providers from blocking or throttling websites or creating paid internet fast lanes. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai argued that the regulations were too onerous and that existing antitrust and consumer protection laws are enough to keep service providers in check. But the ACLU and other groups say that repealing the rules threatens online speech and the free flow of information online. Democratic governors and legislatures across the country have responded to the repeal by implementing their own state net neutrality protections. Supporters have applauded those moves, but warned they are susceptible to legal challenges given that the FCC preempted the states from filing the void with their own rules. The ACLU's new report calls for cities to build internet networks that abide by net neutrality principles in order to ensure that users have an alternative if internet providers start abusing their powers over access. Such proposals are gaining traction in major cities like San Francisco and have already seen some success in places like Chattanooga, Tennessee. But the telecom industry has fought back against municipal broadband projects. 22 states have prohibited localities from building public networks, according to the report. Still, the ACLU argues that municipal networks are one of the few courses remaining for local leaders who believe in net neutrality. If the commercial providers are determined to make money by violating the privacy and speech rights of their users, and if some policymakers in Washington are determined to clear the way for them to do that, then states, cities, towns, and counties should take matters into their own hands by creating publicly owned services that do honor these values and can help ensure an open internet, the report reads. Again, that was from thehill.com. Entitled, ACLU urges cities to build public broadband to protect net neutrality. And I absolutely agree. I'll go ahead and leave that in the description so you guys can read and check it out for yourselves if you do so wish. So, absolutely, this is the best option that we have. We also have the Congressional Review Act, or the CRA, which basically overturns the FCC's decision. The problem with that is we need 2/3 majority in both houses, Democratic and Republican, as well as the president's signature. So President Trump will have to sign off on that. And he's the one who basically signed off on this whole repeal net neutrality thing anyways. So it's that or municipal broadband. And it's looking like municipal broadband at this point. Or unless one of these lawsuits come through. We have plenty of people and cities and organizations that are suing the FCC because of them repealing net neutrality. So hopefully something goes through. Hopefully the pressure is kept on our lawmakers to do something about this issue, about the protection of our First Amendment right, about free speech on the internet, and about limiting the power of voices on the internet and around the world. This is absolutely egregious, and I can't understand why anybody would speak up or defend the ISPs or you know, or Ajit Pai or the people of the FCC or the Republican-led coalition that ushered this through. I just don't get why you're so okay with your freedoms being limited. When it comes to the Second Amendment and your gun rights, you know, fuck the Republicans, fuck Congress, fuck everybody, hands off my guns. But when it comes to, you know, freedom of speech on the internet and the internet being protected and equal for everybody, some people have a problem with that. And I just don't understand. So everyone should be on board with net neutrality. We should keep fighting, keep up the pressure with our political leaders or so-called leaders. And absolutely, we should be pressuring our cities into forming municipal broadband. We should have been had this, if you ask me. But oftentimes, this is what happens. Nobody ever brings up the solutions until after we already need them. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video if you like, share if you feel as though it's shareable, and subscribe to me so we can keep in touch. All right, I love you guys. Remember to love from your hearts, peace from your souls, chicken grease in your tummy. Keep spreading that enlightenment, keep fighting, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right.